So Kick-Ass 2 has been out for a full week now in the UK, and I've noticed that it's actually started to get some pretty bad reviews. It currently only holds like a 28% on Rotten Tomatoes, which really shows that critics do not know what they are talking about. Kick-Ass 2 is hilarious. How can you give the first one a great rating and make this one have a terrible rating? They're like, well, I'm not saying they're completely similar because they're not. This one's Kick-Ass 2 is different. It goes in a different direction, but I'm saying, how can you not like this one if you like the first one? Anyway, it just shows that critics don't know what they're talking about. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone by saying this. I'm just saying it. So yeah, enough of all that. Here's the perfect time to start talking about spoilers and a comparison to graphic novel. And I'll be spoiling a lot here, including the ending of the movie, the beginning of the movie, the middle of the movie. So yeah, if you still want to see this movie and you don't want it spoiled, I suggest you watch something else. Maybe watch my original review, which I'll put a link in the description below. So yeah, so I want to start off by talking about something appropriate because I know you've all been dying to see him. I'm going to start off by talking about Jim Carrey's portrayal as Colonel Stars and Stripes. Now, in the comic, there were two different characters. One was Colonel Stars, one was Lieutenant Stripes. But in this one, he's merged into one character, and I can see why, because, there is a hell of a lot of heroes, a hell of a lot of villains. So, I can see why you don't want to overcrowd it with too many characters. That's fine. I think it's a good idea to merge him into one character. And for every moment of screen time Jim Carrey has, he is amazing. It's one of his best film roles. I'm not even joking. He is really good as Colonel Stars and Stripes. And yeah, but I just wanted to say, he wasn't in the film that much, and I expected to see a hell of a lot more of him in the movie. And of course, yeah, he does die. If you've seen the movie, you'll know that he is decapitated by Mother Russia's team. Well, Motherfucker's team, but he is decapitated by Mother Russia. There we go. So yeah, he wasn't in it too much. He was in it for about maybe half an hour, but his death just comes so quickly, and I know it's necessary for his death. I know his death happens in the comic, and it does happen pretty quickly, but I just expected more from him. I really enjoyed him. Every moment of screen time he has, he is amazing, and he's like the funniest character. Well, I wouldn't say he's the funniest character. He's pretty funny though. The funniest character is Motherfucker. There's a hilarious scene where he goes to rape Kick-Ass's new girlfriend, Night Bitch. But anyway, that scene's hilarious, and I know it doesn't sound hilarious, but we'll get onto that soon. I just want to carry on talking about Colonel Stars and Stripes. So yeah, as soon as he's introduced, he's bad. He's the leader of this new group which Kick-Ass joins called Justice Forever. So yeah, because Hit Girl has gone into retirement, even though she's like 15, but because she goes into retirement, Kick-Ass has no one, so he finds this guy on the street called Dr. Gravity, and this part is pretty faithful to the comic. When Colonel Stars and Stripes is introduced, like all the Colonel Stars and Stripes bits are faithful to the comic, apart from the fact that he's now one character. So yeah, but not everything is faithful to the comic in this movie. So let's start talking about Chris D'Amico. You'll know Chris D'Amico is Red Mist in the original movie, and that Kick-Ass, of course, blows his dad out of the window with a bazooka. So yeah, of course, he'll want revenge. But the way he goes about having his revenge is very, very different in this movie. In the comic, he just, becomes Motherfucker and fights Kick-Ass. But in this one, he takes a very dark path, and it does get kind of, like, hard to watch in some places, like what he's doing. So the first scene he's in, his mother is on his case about his father, and he wishes her dead, and she goes into a sunbed, and he kicks the sunbed, and it kills her, which it is appropriate that his mother dies, because that sort of sets up his name, the Motherfucker. But in the comic, it's completely different. She doesn't die at all. She actually shoots Lieutenant Stripes before trying to shoot Chris in Kick-Ass 3. Spoiler for Kick-Ass 3, should have said that first, but anyway. Yeah. So, it is very different the way that he becomes Motherfucker. And if you're wondering about the gimp suit, which is definitely not in the comic, it's because as his mother dies, some of her old clothing he finds and he decides to try on her gimp suit, and that becomes his supervillain costume. Bit weird, I know, but anyway, he was really funny in this movie. Christopher Mintz-Plasse played his role very well as a villain. He was great as Red Mist, but as Motherfucker, he is like really good. So yeah, I think that might be where some of the criticism is coming from. The way Motherfucker is portrayed, the way he's so crazy, and maybe that's where some of the criticism is coming from. But I don't see why it's getting such bad criticism. But I'm not here to talk about the criticism. I am here to talk about the comparison to the comics and the spoilers in the movie. So again with Motherfucker, let's talk about that rape scene I mentioned earlier. In the comics, there's a gang rape scene of Motherfucker's gang, who I'm not going to say what their name are because it's much worse than his name. But his gang actually gang raped Katie, who was the girlfriend of Dave, or Kick-Ass as he is now known in the original. And you don't really see her in the movie. Like, there's a scene where Kick-Ass is training with Hit Girl, and you know, that was a cool scene to see. But then like Katie sort of just like her breakup with him is so glossed over. Like the way he was so obsessed with her in the first movie, and then they just break up straight away because she thinks he's having an affair with Hit Girl. That was just glossed over so quickly, and it was just Dave didn't really give a crap. Like in the first one, he loves her so much, and you know, but now he's just like, oh, she's broken up with me. Well, I'm a superhero. What do I care? So yeah, that was a bit annoying. But anyway, instead of raping Katie in this, Motherfucker and his gang attempt to rape Night Bitch, who is a new superhero, and she becomes Kick-Ass's girlfriend. But I don't see how this is effective in Kick-Ass's world. I mean, yeah, she's kind of his girlfriend. They had sex in a toilet, but her character development is so like, you know, all that happens is they're sort of fighting crime, and then she's like, oh, you want to go to an alley, and then now they're like going out because they had sex once. It's really weird how they done that. Like the KE sort of build up was really sort of slow moving, and maybe that was where some of the criticism came from as well. Like the character development wasn't great. I mean, the character development for certain characters, such as of course Hit Girl, Kick-Ass, Motherfucker, their character development was great. The main characters, but with these side characters such as Night Bitch, you know, they're just so glossed over, and that I didn't like that so much. But it's not enough to ruin the movie for me. So anyway, they attempt to rape Night Bitch, and this was the funny scene. It doesn't sound very funny when I say rape, but it doesn't actually happen because Motherfucker can't get himself hard, so he has to masturbate. And yeah, Christopher Mintz-Plasse did have some pretty funny parts in this movie. That was one of the funny parts. But I'm not here to talk about just Motherfucker. Of course, Hit Girl, the stand-up character of the first movie, again is the best part of this movie. She's great. I mean, it delves into her trying to adapt to high school life, which is where the Hit Girl graphic novel comes in. This will happen in the Hit Girl graphic novel, where she goes to like high school. She's retired and everything. So I think it was the Hit Girl graphic novel. It might have been Kick-Ass 2. I don't really remember. But anyway, it was that was quite faithful to how she adapted to high school. Apart from there were a few things, but anyway. And then she comes back, and the final showdown happens, and that was great. That was pretty. I say faithful. No, it wasn't really, because there's a huge shark. So the final showdown happens. Hit Girl's now back on the like as a superhero, and she's back fighting crime. So there's this huge showdown, and she takes out Mother Russia after getting injected with adrenaline. But the main fight is, of course, between Kick-Ass and Motherfucker. And they have this huge fight, showdown, go up to the roof, and Motherfucker falls through the roof. And Kick-Ass attempts to save him, but Motherfucker doesn't want to be saved by Kick-Ass, so he lets go and falls into this giant pool with a shark in, which was kind of weird. But in the comic, this didn't happen. Motherfucker fell off the roof and broke every bone in his body. So you think he's dead? Now, well, he's not. Because there's an after-credit scene which sets up for Kick-Ass 3, and it shows Motherfucker in a hospital. On a hospital bed after getting rescued from the shark tank, and he has missing legs, and it appears that he has missing arms, and he can't get any water, and there are police outside. So yeah, he's pretty much the most hated guy now. And then the ending wasn't great, because the ending of the original shows Hit Girl get arrested after taking the rap for Motherfucker's death, even though he falls off the building and just breaks all his bones. But she takes the blame for that, and her and Marcus get arrested. But in this one, it's not really explained at all. Like, she has her hit girl bike, and then she's talking to Dave, and she's like, "Oh, I have to leave," and then she just like rides off. But again, Chloe Moretz was great again as Hit Girl, and I think she is like gonna be going really well in her career. Like, she's been in loads of movies now, but Kick-Ass is her best, and I think that's the one that's gonna define her career. So anyway, I didn't really like the ending as much, but it was sort of faithful, but mostly it is very different from how the comics and graphic novel was shown. So have you seen Kick-Ass 2 yet? What do you think? What do you think of the changes that it has made? I personally don't mind them, but it would have been nice to see more sort of... I mean, I think the ending with Motherfucker would have been much better if he just fell off the building and broke all his bones, because that was sort of a really unrealistic ending. But we don't really tend to go and see Kick-Ass for that sort of thing. Oh, and there's one more thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about how dark this one is. It's not like really serious, because your main villain's called the Motherfucker, and there's a dog who bites off a man's balls. But like, there's Kick-Ass's dad is like killed in prison by Motherfucker's gang, and then there's his whole funeral, and that was kind of really intense. And I think they took like a sort of more intense route with this one. It was less funny. There wasn't as many funny scenes, and some jokes do fall flat, but mostly they hit. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about Dave's dad's death, because in this one it's Todd, one of his best friends, who sets up Kick-Ass and tells Motherfucker who he is. And I didn't like that as much. I don't think it happened in the comic. I don't really remember if it happened in the comic, but I'm pretty sure it didn't. And I didn't like that as much. And it was kind of his fault that Kick-Ass's dad died, or Dave's dad, whether you want to call him Dave or Kick-Ass, I don't know. But it was kind of his fault that he died. So I didn't really like that, because it's just all glossed over, and I don't think Dave even knew that it was his fault. So yeah, that's another thing that, but anyway, I don't see where all the badness is coming from critics. I really enjoyed the movie. A solid 4 from me. I'm not going to give it a 5, because the first one was a lot better. But yeah, I can go past the flaws and the changes from the comics. So what do you think of this? Did you like Kick-Ass 2? Did you hate it? Let me know. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again. Goodbye.